Our speaker is going to be joining us virtually. Dr. Meredith Paker is an assistant professor of economics at Grinnell College in Grinnell, Iowa. If it were in Georgia, it would be pronounced Grinnell, and she would be a Grinnellian. But she researches unemployment and inequality in historical economies. And of course, you know that she wrote Monopsy and Nominal Wage Rigidity in Early Modern Labor Markets. We all have copies of that. We can get her to autograph it for us. She earned her PhD and a master's degree from the University of Oxford, where she was a Marshall Scholar. She graduated from the University of Georgia in 2016 and is originally from Madison, Wisconsin. A highlight of her time at the University of Georgia was leading an Athens Girl Scout troop through the UGA campus scouts, and she also loves to hike, travel, and play sports. So please welcome Dr. Meredith Paker.
Hey. Thank you, and thank you so much.
Did I get your name right after all that?
It's Paker, but Paker. Everyone gets it wrong. They gave me a driver's license Paker. With the wrong name, so let me just share my screen. All right. So thank you for the kind introduction, and also to Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia for having me here today. It is wonderful to reconnect with the Girl Scout community here and to share some reflections on the role of Girl Scouts in my life and in the world. Thank you, Judge Stevens, for the brief bio. I am a Georgia Dogs fan, and I also went to Oxford, as you can see from these photos. And after working in the government for a year, I'm now a professor of economics at Grinnell College. And I just wanted to start by talking a little bit about the role of Girl Scouts in my own life. Like many of you, I grew up participating in Girl Scouts. I was in Troop 402 in Madison, Wisconsin, with many girls from my grade school. We did so many great activities, from crafting to camping trips. On the right here is a picture of when my juniors troop visited the local weather forecaster on NBC Nightly News. Very exciting. And on the left is a picture for when I was a little bit younger, out in a canoe with some of my troop on one of our annual camping trips. But when I think about Girl Scouts, what I really remember are the moms, my mom and the moms of my friends, who put so much effort into putting together the programming for the different badges and making sure we always had fabulous activities to do. On the left is a picture of me and my wonderful mom, who was chaperoning one of our outdoor excursions. Our whole troop stayed in that little house you can see in the background in our sleeping bags, and we had campfires and hikes. And on the right, you can see some other moms and some of my friends growing up. When I look at these old photos, the moms are always there in the background, keeping the gears running. And that's why I was so struck by the work of the University of Georgia Campus Scouts when I went to UGA for college. Girl Scouts came back into my life in a big way when I joined Campus Scouts, whose mission was to match UGA college students with local Girl Scouts in need of a troop leader. Now, these troops had really different backgrounds than I did. Many girls didn't live with their moms, or they came from families where all of the adults had to work long hours. By being a troop leader for a group of Girl Scouts in the Pinewoods Library, I was able to share Girl Scout programming with kids who might not have otherwise had the opportunity. So with Campus Scouts, our troop did all sorts of wonderful activities. And like all kids, the girls' favorites were always field trips. We took them onto UGA's campus as much as possible. So here's my co-troop leader, Tori, with some of our Girl Scouts at a gym dogs meet. Here's my other co-troop leader, Jackson, with some Girl Scouts at a swim meet. And in the middle is me at this fabulous Halloween party we went to at one of the sorority houses that had awesome costumes and crafts for all of the girls. But at the Pinewoods Library, we did a lot of other important activities. So much of Girl Scouts is helping girls to connect with their creativity and their strength, helping them to build confidence. Our troop did so many fun activities that we hoped helped girls develop these skills. We did activities on healthy eating and political campaigns. We made movies, we celebrated holidays, and we talked about female role models. And of course, we did a lot of crafts. But what I'll always remember most about working at the Pinewoods Library was how welcomed we were into their community. We brought Girl Scouts programming to the library, but we got back so much more. We were invited to participate in their community activities, and we really developed these cross-cultural connections. And this had a big impact on me personally, even as a troop leader, this opportunity to learn about other people's lives and communities. And that's something I've been able to take forward into my career and my research. So we gave a lot, but we also got a lot. And it's also important for Athens to build these connections between the university and the people living there. So here are our Girl Scouts participating in the classic UGA tradition of ringing the chapel bell, celebrating our sisterhood and our togetherness. We want UGA to feel like a part of Athens and a place that these kids might go someday. For me personally, Girl Scouts has also had a big impact on my career as an economist. Like many young girls, selling Girl Scout cookies was a valuable experience working with numbers. Here is me and my sisters with our order sheets, getting ready to canvass the neighborhood to raise money for our troops. It was so wonderful to share that tradition with the Girl Scouts at Pinewoods, who would sell cookies to hungry UGA students at the Tate Center. But it's not just the selling cookies that has helped me to become an economist. We started this event by sharing in the Girl Scout Law, which sets out some of the traits we hope to develop in all Girl Scouts. And some of you may know that the version we now use is only from 1996, and maybe some of you more veteran Girl Scouts remember learning a different version back in the 70s. But there's actually been a Girl Scout law ever since Juliet Gordon Low founded the Girl Scouts in 1912. Now, most Girl Scouts do learn about Juliet Gordon Low in the program. And while I was at UGA, I had the amazing experience of going to visit her home in Savannah with my own mom. We learned all about her vision and her claim that, quote, "I've got something for the girls of Savannah and all of America and all of the world, and we're going to start it tonight," as she formed the first Girl Guide troop. Girl Scouts was revolutionary from its inception for its emphasis on getting girls out of their homes and into the world, encouraging them to participate in outdoor activities, to serve their communities, and to develop self-reliance and resourcefulness. In 1912, it was revolutionary to think about how to help girls develop these leadership skills and the ability to advocate for themselves and be ambitious. And in our modern Girl Scout law, we still encourage girls to be courageous and strong. And that's always been one of my favorite lines. Every Girl Scout faces different challenges in their life that demand courage and strength. And even though things have changed a lot since 1912, women are still disadvantaged in many ways in society and the economy. And this revolutionary notion that women should be as ambitious and as passionate as men, it's part of the founding of Girl Scouts, and it's still necessary and essential in our own time. Even in my own field, 80% of all economics professors are men. And the numbers are even worse when we look intersectionally. Whether it's personally or professionally, Girl Scouts is preparing girls to have the strength and the courage to be trailblazers in their own way and to shape their lives according to their own design. It's important for me to be an economics professor to tell and show young women that economics is a field that they have the courage and the strength to succeed and thrive in. Now, another of my favorite lines in the Girl Scout law is this call to be honest and fair. And as a researcher, what I'm really interested in is connected to this, economic inequality. How are certain gender, racial, regional, and industrial groups advantaged and disadvantaged in the economy? How have these disadvantages changed over time? How do they interact with big economic events like recessions and pandemics and wars? I look at economies of the past, I collect a bunch of old data on things such as unemployment, and I analyze this data with statistical techniques to try to learn about the way that historical economies function, to better understand who is winning and who is losing in these complex economic systems of the past. My research on the past helps us to better understand where our economic systems come from and where they might go in the future. And when we think about fairness and equity, we have to reckon with so many decades and centuries of policies and lives lived before our present time. The past is shaping and defining the potential of the present moment. And so to be honest and fair is a tough and important task. And one of the goals of my economic research is to, in a small way, think about those who are left out of or left behind by economic progress. And lastly, I just wanted to talk briefly about the call to be a sister to every Girl Scout. It is such a wonderful idea. And what I found when I was researching this is that in the original 1912 version of the Girl Scout law, a slightly different phrase was used. It said, quote, "A Girl Scout is a friend to all and a sister to every other Girl Scout, no matter to what social class she may belong." And this gives a glimpse into the other way that the founding of Girl Scouts was so radical and so revolutionary. It's not a story they emphasize so much at the Juliet Gordon Low House, but it's equally important. Because in 1912, we know that many girls did not stay home, training to be housewives, working on their embroidery and their painting and their piano. In this period, 20% of all children aged 10 to 15 worked. And these were mainly children from the lower end of the class spectrum, poor children. You had young girls working in mills and in glass factories. You had children working out on the field. And these children from poor families led lives so different from that of Juliet Gordon Low. Juliet Gordon Low was able to travel Europe. General Sherman was a family friend of them. For her, Juliet Gordon Low, to conceive of Girl Scouts as a place for all girls, regardless of their social class, was even more revolutionary than the idea of girls going out camping. It was radically inclusive. Every girl could be a Girl Scout, even the mill girls and the farm girls. And Girl Scouts are a sister to every other Girl Scout. This radical inclusivity is so striking about the Girl Scouts, and it's just been deepened and strengthened over the past 110 years of the program. We can learn so much from connecting with communities that we aren't a part of. So what I'll leave you with is a reminder to stay courageous and strong, to center equity and fairness in all of our actions, and to bring this idea of being a sister to every Girl Scout out with you into the world. We are so lucky to have this amazing program that connects us. And I'm so grateful to have a chance to share my experiences with you today. Thank you for your generous support of the Girl Scouts of Historic Georgia and for giving all girls a chance to have the Girl Scouts experience.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Paker. And again, I'm sorry I mispronounced your name. You can call me Lawson for the rest of your life if you want to.